air. Gold bells shining, they all dare. Tougher, fists held high. Warriors fight till the night says die. FWE, where battles divine. Every broken bone, all by design. Chained to the thrill, they let it be. This ain't a game, it's FWE. FWE, where battles define. Every broken bone, all by design. Chained to the thrill, they let it be. This ain't a game, it's FWE. Oh, FWE, FWE. Oh, FWE, FWE.
We welcome you inside of the Fantasy Dome for the first weekly episode of 2026. Coming off the heels of our Saturday Night at Springfield PLE, we get ready to set our sights towards Resistance. I'm Seth Cole. I'll soon be joined by my broadcast colleague Jack Mitchell. He texted me earlier on, said he's running late, but he will be here before the end of the night as we get ready to kick things off here with two individuals that made their presence felt in a big, big way 1 week ago.
At 343 pounds,
Well, Thanos definitely made his presence felt as he interfered in the Tri-Wizard Championship matchup between Jack Mitchell and the Hulk. We would see the lights go out, Thanos would appear, he would powerbomb Jack twice on the outside unbeknownst to the referee. Thanos would then disappear and Hulk would capitalize to retain the Tri-Wizard Championship. We remember the battles that Jack Mitchell and Thanos had back in the day. The Iron Man match that these two had. It would appear now that this rivalry has been rekindled. And tonight, Thanos takes on the Tri-Wizard champion, Hulk, in one-on-one action. We've seen little vignettes here and there from Thanos calling out Jack Mitchell, saying that when he was holding the Tri-Wizard Championship, he had completely forgotten about what Thanos had been able to put him through. We ended up hearing when the lights went out, the words of Thanos echoing through the arena, "Jack, you should have listened." And apparently, Thanos has a vendetta here now, and he has targeted the former Tri-Wizard champion.
and his opponent, representing the Dangerous Alliance from New York, weighing in at 600 pounds, the Men's World Champion,
Well, it was back during our Fallout PLE that we ended up seeing the Hulk emerge after a violent matchup between Jack Mitchell and Dylan Young to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase. Hulk would leave with the Tri-Wizard title over his shoulder. We've already documented a little bit of an assist from Thanos last week at Saturday at Springfield in the title rematch to retain said championship, and now Hulk looks to begin the year 2026 with a lengthy title reign. Man, I hope the ring is reinforced for this one, as we're going to have the Monster versus the Titan. No title on the line, but some would certainly have to think that if Thanos is able to pin or submit the champion, it could put him in line for a shot at the Tri-Wizard Championship. This will undoubtedly as well be the biggest individual to date that Hulk has gone up against. You think about the evolution of Hulk. Pretty much started his FW career in the tag team division alongside of his tag team partner Thor, but now he has made himself a main eventer after successfully cashing in Money in the Bank. Well, this should be a showcase of power Don't expect to see any high flying out of these two. This is going to be straight up punch you in the mouth type grappling here. As Hulk looks to get the early advantage on Thanos, scoops him up here and hits a fall away slam. Both individuals over 7 feet tall, but both are able to move quite quickly for their size. See how Hulk just threw Thanos off of him. Misses with the elbow now. Could be the opening that Thanos needs, and he'll hit the neck breaker. Irish whipped off the ropes. Oh, big boot by Thanos. Drops the Tri-Wizard champion. Of course, as well, we are looking forward January 22nd. We will join our YEW colleagues Kyle Matthews and Michael Norman as the door will be kicked down between the two organizations. We will see members of the FWE roster taking on members of the YEW roster as cover is in here by Hulk after the guillotine on the top rope and a kick out at 1. We already know one of the matchups we're going to see is Michael Norman announcing that he has issued a challenge to Tony D'Angelo, the Dom of one family against the Dom of another family, and we cannot wait to see what other matches will end up being on that card. Hulk is firmly in control of this matchup, and now a little showboating there as he places the foot on the back of Thanos and flexes the muscles for the crowd here in the FWE Fantasy Dome. Hulk to the top. We don't see that very often, but he will score with the splash. Is that going to be enough to put Thanos away in a kick out at 1? Big back elbow there by Hulk. Continuing to apply the pressure here on Thanos. Misses though with the big splash. Thanos was able to get out of the way. Now he'll score with the clothesline. This may turn the momentum for the Titan. And you gotta wonder what's gone through the head of Hulk here. Obviously, he's had to have gone back. He's had to have seen the replay, the tape of what went down at Saturday Night at Springfield. To his credit, it's a champions matchup. It's a championship matchup. He's got to take advantage of the situation while it is there, but you got to wonder if there might be a little animosity between Hulk and Thanos with the fact that Hulk didn't want any help in defeating Jack Mitchell, wanted to do it on his own merits. May feel like that victory is tainted in some way as a big spinning clothesline by Thanos. Referee Ernest Wright halfway to a 10 count. Thanos back over the top rope, back into the ring. Is he going to get a count-out victory here against Hulk? Referee at a count of 7. Hulk begins to stir. Referee at 8. Hulk going to get back in underneath the bottom rope. At a count of 8. A little showboating there by Thanos going to cost him as Hulk with the splash in the corner. Massive forearm to the back of the neck. And now just drives the face of Thanos into the turnbuckle. Oh, hold on, choke slam! Choke slam by Thanos. Cover is in on Hulk. Can he put him away? And Hulk is going to get the shoulder up at 2. Thanos thought he had Hulk down and out. I'll be honest, I almost thought he did as well, but the fighting champion Hulk able to get out of that pity predicament, and look at this. Thanos not able to hoist up. Hulk instead crumbled underneath the weight. Oh, Hulk's got him up and down. Gonna hit the backbreaker there. I thought he might be setting him up for a power slam instead. Now a straight right hand into the gut. And one into the chin. And now just wailing away on the back of Thanos. And finally brings him down to the canvas. Where is Hulk going? Hulk going back up there to the top rope again. Reverse bonsai drop. Is that going to be enough for Hulk to put Thanos away? And it will. Hulk is able to vanquish the Titan. Hulk picks up a huge victory, both literally and figuratively. Hulk continuing to show his dominance and why he is the Tri-Wizard champion, as he finds victory here tonight, 1 week removed from Saturday Night at Springfield. Hold on. We know that music. He's here. Jack Mitchell has arrived, and he's no surprise targeting Thanos. Thanos, who cost him an opportunity at regaining the Tri-Wizard Championship last week at Saturday Night at Springfield. And Mitchell gonna make Thanos pay. You see Thanos still feeling the effects of that reverse bonsai drop to the ribs from Hulk. Oh, and Mitchell says, we're not done. Again, into the lower back of Thanos, bounces him off the ring apron. Oh, and now Thanos, shoulder first, into the steel steps. I'm being told we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back here at FWE. Thanos has been helped to the back. Mitchell is fired up, and he's got himself a microphone.
FWE Universe, we've got to talk. First, Hulk cashes in his Money in the Bank contract on me. Fine. Fair enough. I had a rematch clause. I invoked it this past Saturday, but now it's been made pretty clear as of late that Hulk wasn't the only one who had been thinking about going after me. Thanos, you can bet your ass that despite our past and what's happened since, I've never once forgotten about you or what you're capable of. But here's the thing about that Iron Man match we had all that time ago. You lost. Nothing you say, none of your false prophet talk will be able to make up for that. You didn't have to accept the match in the first place, but you did. You didn't have to let me kick your ass the way I did, but here we are. But now, the absolute nerve you had last week to get in my way. You know what? I guess if anything, I think that I should be thanking you. You made me realize that I need to look in the mirror and accept that the old me isn't going to get the job done this time. I'm done with constantly being pushed around by everyone, especially the likes of you. It's time for me to push myself, to grow stronger and more dangerous than I've ever been before. Ladies and gentlemen, I won't lie. When I became the world champion, I realized the huge weight that was on my shoulders, and the goal became clear, to give the people a champion worth celebrating. But I got sent to the back of the line, and that doesn't sit well with me. I came to FWE to win, to prove myself, to have championship gold around my waist. I'm not done chasing that down, and I'm not done fighting for all of you, the people who have stood behind me this entire time. But there's going to be some changes. I might do some things that you weren't expecting, and I may not always be proud of them. But if I'm going to adapt, if I'm going to be better, I don't need to run away from the target that's on my back. I need to embrace it. I've never been afraid of Big Purple over here, or anyone else for that matter, and I'm not about to change that. And I look forward to one day standing at the top of the food chain here in FWE once again. But for now, bring me Thanos.
Well, there are a lot of different things that can be taken away from that. I think the biggest thing that kind of stood out to me is we may have a different Jack Mitchell, a more dangerous Jack Mitchell here in FWE. He joins me on commentary next.
You want to know how I got these scars? Not from wrestling, that's for sure. You see, because whenever I step inside of an FWE ring, I'm the one that's dealing out the punishment. And you know what? I love it. I sit backstage before my match just thinking of the many ways I can twist and torture my victims. That's the mindset of all of us in the Gotham inmates. Right, baby?
That's right, Puddin'.
So just remember that the next time you're standing across the ring from me, that although I may don an appearance of a man that borders on the insane, inside this head is a ticking time bomb of a brain, constantly calculating one move ahead of anything you can possibly imagine. So do yourself a favor, just stay out of our way. Otherwise, I won't be responsible for the consequences. FWE, welcome to your worst nightmare.
We get ready here now for an incident that occurred all the way back on Christmas Day during our holiday special episode of FWE.
It's scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring, accompanied by Anthony, representing the Rockers from North Carolina, weighing in at 160 pounds, the Chosen One.
We'll talk more about what this matchup was brought about by in a minute here, but my broadcast colleague has donned the headset here, joining me on commentary, Jack Mitchell. And Jack, first things first, I gotta ask, were you really running late, or was that a ploy?
I think it was a bit of both, we'll say.
Okay.
And his opponent from the internet, weighing in at 100 pounds, King Candyman.
Well, this is a kind of unusual match put together here, but as mentioned, it stems from what went down during that 30-man over-the-top rope battle royal, the All I Want for Christmas battle royal. We saw near the closing stages of that match, King Candy would eliminate Cole Eastwood, but he would do so via a low blow. Cole wants a little level of revenge here tonight against King Candy, who is apparently going on that heel persona, donning the turbo gear this evening.
Feels like a lot of us are going turbo as of late.
Yeah, right. Speaking of which, I was going to comment on this here. Looks like some new gear you're donning here now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of, I need to change things. I need to really look in the mirror and realize that, like, what was going on in the past, like I was saying, it wasn't getting the job done. I feel like now, this new me, I'm ready to change things. I'm ready to try to become better and try to be more prepared for those attacks by people like Thanos, so.
Talk about things being different. Certainly looks like we're kind of going back in time with that rivalry renewed between you and the Titan Thanos. As I'm actually being told here that you got your hands on him here tonight. You're going to get a chance to get your hands on him once again. I've just been informed by our FWE Commissioner, Woody, next week you and Thanos are going to be going one-on-one, 2 out of 3 falls match in our main event next Thursday night.
Perfect. Bring him on. Let's shift our attention here, though, because this is, like you mentioned, a pretty important match for these two. Cole Eastwood kind of needing some redemption after that low blow from King Candy. Obviously accompanied by Anthony McCurry. He's going to go into the cover, does Cole, but a kick out at 1.
King Candy, a former Tri-Wizard champion. Cole Eastwood, a former tag team champion with Anthony McCurry back when they were members of the family. Now de facto from that faction, now known as the Rockers, and you gotta think they'd love to get back into the tag team title picture here at some point. Titles that Anthony McCurry, let's be honest, never lost.
That's a very valid point. I mean, I have to think that maybe that gives them some sort of claim to competing for those tag team titles in the future. Of course, we know that Cole Eastwood was willing to sacrifice those titles in order to stick by his partner, Anthony McCurry, so.
Oh, man, big slap right to the chest there. That echoed.
A little bit of hidden power there from Cole Eastwood.
Flatliner on the outside. Referee Ernest Wright at a count of 4. Cole break that up.
One thing I noticed, too, is that King Candy, he tried to maneuver to the outside once. Referee Ernest Wright stopped him. Then he maneuvered to the outside again, but ended up taking the punishment for it.
Eastwood up top, hits the Hurricane Rana from the top turnbuckle. Cole Eastwood, definitely of the duo of the Rockers, more the high flyer type of individual.
Ooh.
Big hard landing there, as I think he might have been going for another Hurricane Rana, but it got reversed into a, I don't know, like maybe a reverse power bomb there by King Candy.
Fighting out of that submission attempt, though, is Cole Eastwood. Trying to get the momentum. Big drop kick there.
Scores
One
as
time
well
for emphasis.
with the splash. A lot of red and white getting in and around the ring, I just noticed there as well.
Pretty easy to tell the difference between the two of them, at least.
Documented about these individuals all being in that 30-man All I Want for Christmas Battle Royal. The winner of that matchup, RJ Bishop. We don't know yet what the Christmas wish is that he's looking for, his sling blade combo into the drop kick. We do know Cruella DeVille, she tried cashing in on her All I Want for Christmas Battle Royal victory this past week at Saturday Night at Springfield, came up short against the now Women's Universal Champion, Poison Ivy.
Of course, RJ Bishop, by merit of winning that Battle Royal, he basically can have whatever he wants. If he wants a title shot, he gets it. If he wants a one-on-one against a certain opponent, he gets it. So RJ can certainly have a lot of power in his hands right now. Ooh.
Massive leg drop from the top rope. Could that be enough to put King Candy away? Get a level of redemption from a couple weeks ago? Yes, indeed it is. That's gotta feel good if you're Cole.
Gotta feel pretty good if you're the Rockers, too. It feels like this faction hasn't really had too much momentum yet since they broke away from the family, but that'll be a nice feeling for these two going forward.
I'm getting fed more information in regards to the men's tag team division. We'll tell you about it here in just a moment. Up next, we see the new women's cruiserweight champion, Susan Storm, in action.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making her way to the ring from Long Island, New York, the Women's Cruiserweight Champion, the Surfer, Susan Storm.
Well, it was about a month ago at the Fallout PLE. We saw that brand new FWE Cozy Cone Cruiserweight Championship belt fought for inside of a steel cage. It was Susan Storm, the Silver Surfer, who was able to claim victory, the inaugural holder of that title belt.
It's a very impressive victory for her as well. She was able to win that in a fatal four-way, much less inside the steel cage. So that's an even better, stipulation to be successful in.
Getting ready here tonight for an eliminator
Representing
matchup.
The Anarchists from another time, Catherine Everett.
Former female fighting champion and Katniss Everdeen, and of course we've documented this before, but for anybody that is tuned into FWE for the very first time, to explain what an eliminator match is, you're basically going for the ultimate risk reward. If you're the challenger here tonight, Katniss Everdeen, it's a non-title match. If you can pick up a pinfall or a submission victory over the champion, that could put you at the top of the line for #1 contendership for the Cruiserweight title. However, if Susan Storm comes out victorious tonight, Katniss Everdeen cannot fight for that title so long as it is in the possession of the Silver Surfer.
No risk it, no biscuit. Kind of throwing all your eggs in one basket here. So if you're Katniss, you're putting a whole lot of stock into hopefully trying to pin the champion here.
Interesting one half of the Anarchists. We saw the other half. Ellie was involved in that steel cage match back at Fallout, so you got to think maybe she gave some pointers on what to expect from Susan Storm in tonight's matchup.
You have to get a feeling they maybe talked a little bit backstage before getting ready to go into this matchup.
Talk all the time about it. Just takes that one win, maybe that one title belt to rocket the trajectory of your FWE career. For Susan Storm, really was kind of spinning her wheels until she was able to get the Cruiserweight title belt, and now we're going to be probably seeing her a lot more often here weekly on FWE.
I talked about it quite a lot when we were first introducing that Women's Cruiserweight Championship. It felt like it was a whole bunch of women in the FWE roster that hadn't yet been given that spotlight, so another title here gives them that opportunity to do so. Here's the cover by Katniss.
Yeah, right out of the gate, big offense by Katniss, and nearly put the champion away just like that.
I feel like she would have been instantly named the #1 contender if she could have gotten the pin that quickly.
No arguments. I mentioned before we had that commercial break, I'll tell you what, our FWE commissioner, Woody, he is cooking, because I got told that apparently we are going to begin the road towards determining new #1 contenders for the Men's Disney Tag Team Championships, currently in the possession of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Next week, we are going to see an 8-man tag team matchup. It will be eliminator style. On one side of the ring, we're going to have the Rockers, Cole Eastwood and Anthony McCurry, joined by the Mario brothers, Mario and Luigi. On the other side of the ring, we're going to have the Gotham Inmates, Joker and Penguin, teaming up with the Disciples of Darkness, Shadow Lord and Hades. That is going to be nuts.
That's going to be insane. And I mean, some of the names you mentioned in that too, we've talked about the mysterious surroundings of the Shadow Lord, but Penguin is a man that we haven't seen inside the FWE ring for quite some time.
It's almost kind of got some old school Survivor Series vibes to it. I don't know, something like that. That will be a wild one. And then I've been told that the winning team will then end up facing off against each other in tag team action, and that will end up determining our #1 contenders. But we got to get through that 8-man tag next week before anything, as again, Katniss trying to get an early cover here on Susan Storm. Susan able to kick out at 1 that time, though.
Oh, big kick to the head. I mean, that's a crazy circumstance, too, because you win the tag team match, but then all of a sudden, the team that you were just teaming up with, now you're fighting against them the next week.
Status changes. Friends, now enemies. I don't know. Honestly, I don't really think they're gonna be friends next week either. I think it's frenemies. What's that thing that they say? Allies of convenience.
Allies of convenience. Yes, that's the term. Here's a cover by Katniss.
Off the Falcon Arrow there on Susan Storm.
That
wow! Just like that, Falcon Arrow puts Susan Storm away.
Here is your winner, Catherine.
I'm gonna say
huge.
that was borderline dominance by Katniss. She pins the Women's Cruiserweight Champion, and just like that, we could be looking at our next #1 contender for that title.
Very easily. She's already held a singles title here in FWE. We mentioned that female fighting championship, but she didn't hold it for very long. Maybe looking at an opportunity for her second singles belt here in FWE. Certainly a good resume here. One would certainly think to be the next in line to fight for the Cruiserweight title.
Hey, anytime you pin the champion, it's a good thing. Triple threat action coming up next here on FWE.
If you think that any team chemistry can beat the bonds of sisterhood, think again. This FWE Women's Tag Team Division is going to learn what it feels like to fall to the greatest duo to hail from the halls of Arendelle. Ground game, bare-knuckle brawling, high-flying, technical prowess, you name it, we do it all. Bring on all challengers, we will always remain at the top of the tag team food chain. I'm Anna, and this is my sister Elsa, the best female duo in FWE competition. Send your best and we'll put them down. This is our division, and we are not letting it go.
The following contest is a triple threat match. Making his way to the ring from Cincinnati, Ohio, weighing in at 209 pounds, the Machine of War.
Well, it was literally just moments ago that we ended up seeing Katniss Everdeen pin the Cruiserweight champion Susan Storm in an eliminator match. We're going to have the same conditions here in this triple threat. Two challengers, the champion, the Cruiserweight champion, Carson Gum. Same scenario. This could be huge if you're the War Machine, Levi McIntyre, who is still searching for his first title belt here in FWE.
Yeah, it feels like Levi has been, in matches as of late, really few and far between, but an opportunity here for him tonight to try to skyrocket his career.
And his opponents, first, representing the corporation from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, weighing in at 126 pounds, Shaggy Rogers.
Another individual that is in a sense kind of fallen off the FWE radar, Shaggy Rogers. And it's a shame because I think not many people will remember because it was so far back at the very first PLE Fantasia that Shaggy at one point was at the top of the mountain. He is a former Tri-Wizard champion. If I recall correctly, I think the last time we saw him in an FWE ring was back during that number one contenders battle royal to be the number one contender for the United States Championship for Paramount. Shaggy, a losing effort there. Hagrid was the eventual winner.
I believe you're correct on that note. We'll have to double check the notes, but yeah, Shaggy definitely trying to kickstart his career once again. Obviously a former world champion, as you mentioned. That reign did not last very long though, only about a week before Dylan Young reclaimed that title. Crazy to think about all the names so far that have held that Tri-Wizard championship.
A few of them have only had it for a cup of coffee.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Denton, Texas, weighing in at 230 pounds, the Global Cruiserweight Champion, the Fireman, and Chris.
Been quite the last couple of months for Carson Gum. You go all the way back to the Showcase of the Immortals at Paramount. Was able to defeat Harry Potter to claim the Cruiserweight title, successfully defended it against Kyle Matthews at Fallout. Opportunity here tonight for Carson Gum to eliminate two potential future competitors for that title belt.
Carson, the man that is hoping that history does not repeat itself immediately tonight. He's hoping to not be the second champion in a row to get pinned in a non-title match, but in an eliminator match nonetheless. Big difference, though, between that last one and this one is that this one will have triple threat rules, so there are no countouts, there are no disqualifications, anything goes just about.
It also brings up an interesting point that I was going to ask you here. With it being a triple threat match, obviously when we talk about triple threats, fatal four-ways, the champion doesn't have to be involved in the decision. But let's say there's a scenario where Shaggy pins Levi or Levi pins Shaggy. They haven't pinned or submitted the champion. Is there as much legitimacy in them being number one contender as there was earlier where we ended up seeing Katniss actually pin the champion Susan Storm?
I think that's a very fair question to ask. I mean, they're working together right now, teaming up on Carson for a moment, but I mean, that's an interesting point to think about, but a triple threat is brutal nonetheless, so I think if you're able to come out of it on the victorious end of things, then you should be in pretty good shape.
Obviously, it's every man for himself, but honestly, I think if I were Levi and Shaggy, I'm wanting to take Carson completely out of this conversation because, again, as we mentioned in the earlier matchup, it's the ultimate risk reward. Yes, you could put yourself in line for #1 contendership for the Cruiserweight title, but on the flip side, you could be completely eliminated from the title picture so long as Carson Gum is the champion. If you take Carson out of this equation, settle it out between the two of you, you then don't run the risk that you're going to be eliminated from the title picture.
That's a fantastic point, and I'm just going to throw it out into the ether. Of course, you know, my mind is on other things that are larger and much more purple, but that Cruiserweight Championship, I've still got a rematch clause for it.
You do indeed.
Just focusing on more important things, but that title does mean quite a bit to me because that was the first title that I held in WWE. Shaggy's got a steel chair.
Oh, gosh, yes he does, and he just gave it to Levi McIntyre's skull. I feel like there's three things that you and I hate the most here in FWE, and two of them are flying chairs and tombstone pile drivers on the outside. The other one would be the 10 beats of the Battering, but that's kind of a love-hate relationship.
Exactly. We had one happen during that women's match, too.
We did. DDT here by Shaggy, and Levi gonna break it up immediately there. With triple threat rules, there are no rope breaks. I'm pretty sure Carson's left leg was underneath the bottom rope, but there are no disqualifications or rope breaks in a triple threat match.
That was a big power bomb from Levi. Nice scoop slam there. Now he'll turn his attention to Carson.
You know, arguably, visibly, you would think that the strength advantage would go to Levi McIntyre, but we've seen deceptive strength out of Carson. You only have to look back at his matchup against Hagrid. Oh, big DDT there. Shaggy, of course, as well. He may be skinny, he may be lean, but he's deceptively strong in his own right.
I feel like that's Cruiserweight in general, as look out, that dive from Shaggy leaves all three men down.
Reversal there by Shaggy. I think Carson might have been going maybe for a gut buster, maybe a backbreaker. Shaggy able to deliver a clothesline there. Oh!
Ooh. Levi was unfazed by that shot. Now the headbutt.
It's like headbutting a giant sequoia. Facebuster on the outside by Shaggy.
Shaggy looking for another toy. He brings out the kendo stick and to dish out even more punishments to Carson Gum. To your earlier point, too, he's trying to take Carson out of the title, or out of the picture. Oh, Carson went for a neck breaker and missed.
Big suplex there by Levi McIntyre to Shaggy. Now he'll hoist Carson Gum up. Bounces Carson face first off that ring apron. And now looking maybe for a Dominator on the outside to Shaggy Rogers. Levi standing tall.
They call him the War Machine for a reason.
Big slam. Chest gut first into the floor. We talk about it all the time. There is very little padding out there. Concrete underneath. Any type of impact you make to the floor, it is going to hurt.
That it is, and I mean, we've already seen weapons and other things like that introduced into the matchup, as I think Shaggy got busted open during one of those moves from Levi. Now everybody ends up back inside the ring.
Flatliner from Shaggy to Levi. Carson quickly on the scene here. Hit a shot there into the midsection of Shaggy, and I think he might have caught a bit of Levi as well on that punch. But clothesline by Levi McIntyre, looking to pin the champion here in this Eliminator match, and Carson out at 2.
If he did not kick out, that was it. Shaggy was not getting up. He was in no position to break that one up.
Carson rolls to the outside. Sleeper! Sleeper hold is in. Grapevines the legs. If Shaggy taps out, nowhere for Carson to be able to help out.
This is such a brutal. He's tapping out.
He tapped out. Shaggy tapped to the sleeper. So now begs the question, does that put Levi in #1 contendership status? He didn't pin the champion, but it was an Eliminator match.
It was, so I feel like I would have to imagine Levi McIntyre will find himself in the title picture soon. I say he more than deserves it. This is a guy who's been in the ring for quite some time, deserves this title opportunity. We're going to hear from the Disney Queens coming up next here on FWE.
have the appearance of a princess, but I have the heart of a warrior. Don't take the glitz and glamour at face value. I've quickly adapted to how one survives on the street, and am not afraid to get down and dirty if the situation requires it. Using my wide variety of skills, I'm ready to stay one jump ahead of the competition and enter into a whole new world of championship gold. My name is Jasmine, and with my girls, we're ready to take over the FWE Women's Division with an iron fist. I'm trapped behind the palace walls no longer.
Welcome you back here to FWE, and as Belle and Rapunzel, the current Women's Disney Tag Team Champions, make their way to the ring, the two words that have surrounded these two women have been simply this: who's left? We ended up seeing them be able to defeat 3 former tag team championship duos in an eliminator match. The question now is there anybody left on the roster? Is there anybody that's able to step up, maybe formulate a team to take them on with the titles on the line?
I'm honestly not quite sure. I mean, like you said, they won that eliminator match. That was a very difficult one for them to win, but the amount of success that these two have had with the belts, I mean, it really does feel like there's not a whole lot of teams left in title contention here on the women's tag team side of things.
FWE Universe, stand up and acknowledge the greatest women's tag team of all time. Us, the Disney Queens of the Women's Division. Now correct me if I'm wrong, Belle, but a few weeks ago we eliminated Team Let It Go, the Daughters of Thanos, and Mystery Incorporated from ever competing for these titles ever again. So long as we hold these belts, didn't we?
You are 100% correct, Rapunzel. We took out 3 former tag team champion teams from the title picture. Even when the odds were stacked against us, we successfully defended these titles at Mortal Kombat and then on the biggest stage at FWE Paramount. So, honestly, I don't know what more we have left to do. Seems there is no one left to challenge us for these FWE Disney Women Tag Team Championships. So, Commissioner Woody, if you're able to scrap together some ragtag team to eventually take us on, you let us know. But it certainly won't matter, cause the Disney Queens will just continue to do what we do best. Dominate the tag team division.
Hard to argue with that. Wait, hold on.
Hold on a second here.
Maybe there is still one team. On the left, Kita. On the right, Esmeralda. Disney Strong Style. Completely forgot about them, but hey, with all other former tag team championship duos out of the picture, this might be the perfect opportunity for them to step into the forefront of the spotlight.
It very well could be, and you said that we forgot about these guys. They're here to make sure, to remind us that we know they still exist. And they are still very, very formidable. I mean, we saw the performance from Esmeralda in that one match not that long ago. That Battle Royal match or whatever it was.
Isn't this cute? You know, for one girl that was manipulated into being locked into a tower her whole life without even thinking, my mother and I look nothing alike. And another girl who swiped right on a man whose profile simply said unleash the beast within. It's pretty easy for me to understand how you don't seem to have a real firm grasp on reality. So let me fill you in. This is the strongest women's tag team division in the world. You can be sure that you eliminate one team, there will always be another one to take its place. You want to know why Kita and I never joined your factions? For this very reason. Have you had success? Of course. Have you let that success go to your heads? Absolutely. See, the difference between you two and us is that where you have been forced to defend those titles, we would be willing to put them on the line and defend them week in and week out. Something that you prissy princesses would never consider doing.
Hold on. Let me see if I've got this straight. You are saying that Belle and I are too scared to defend these titles. That we don't have the guts to put these titles on the line unless we are forced to.
Is she serious?
Oh my gosh, you are so dense. Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying.
Well then, let's see who the cowards really are. Get us a referee out here. You want a shot at these belts. Let's do it right here, right now.
Whoa, are you kidding me?
Right now.
Impromptu tag team matchup coming up here next at FWE. Well, this is incredible, folks, as we welcome you back here. Referee Ernest Wright has made his way down to the ring. You just heard the bell sound. The women's Disney Tag Team titles are on the line here tonight.
Came completely out of nowhere, but the Disney Queens, they emerged to the ring to brag about the success that they've had so far holding those women's Disney Tag Team Championships. Disney Strong Style made an appearance, challenged them for those titles, and, well, Disney Queens were more than willing to put them on the line, and it's happening right here, right now.
This is unbelievable, as it looks like it's going to be Rapunzel and Esmeralda squaring off here. Pretty much the two that were doing a lot of the talking there during that back and forth. Rapunzel hoisted up over the top rope to the outside, and Esmeralda going to take Belle out of the picture here with those forearm shots.
Trying to double check what matchup that I mentioned briefly that Esmeralda took part in. There was that, I think it was an Eliminator Gauntlet match that she was involved in on the women's side, or maybe it was just a standard Eliminator. I don't totally remember, but she was in good position to come away with a championship around her waist, dominated that matchup, but came up just short in the end, so she's definitely going to be a very formidable participant in this matchup here.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up here because indeed, to your point, that was a gauntlet match for the Female Fighting Championship. Came up runner-up in that one, eventually losing out to Shigo. Esmeralda came into that matchup, I think it was third of the participants, and lasted till the very end. I've actually been told here before we came on the air, it's a very unusual situation. We normally see the Female Fighting Championship defended in multi-woman matchups, but we have been told that this Saturday night, I believe it's this Saturday night, let me double check. No, next Thursday night, we are going to have a one-on-one matchup between Esmeralda and Shigo for the Female Fighting Championship. The performance that Esmeralda put on there in that gauntlet match has earned her a shot at the title with no other women involved.
Yeah, that's very, very unusual. That's a championship that we see, you know, in basically all these free-for-all style matchups, 6, 8, 10 woman matchups. We got a cover here by Belle.
Cover is indeed in to retain the title and kick out. You bring up a point. Elimination Chamber, we saw the belt defended there.
Absolutely, but now we're going to see it in a one-on-one. Esmeralda looking to get more gold around her waist.
Looking to pin the Disney Tag Team Champions and not able to do so here. Belle able to fight out and, you know, take nothing away from Belle and Rapunzel. We ended up seeing them successfully defend the belts at Paramount. They didn't let the big stage get in their way there. We ended up seeing them, as we've already documented, they eliminated the Daughters of Thanos. They eliminated Mystery Incorporated. They eliminated Team Let It Go. 3 teams that have held those tag team title belts in the past. They have pretty much taken on all comers. I guess the point that Disney Strong Style has made is the matches that they've had, they've not offered them to anybody. They've been forced to defend the title belts whenever those belts have been on the line.
Well, regardless, I feel like if Disney Strong Style is able to win this matchup, you can just think about the floodgates are going to be open. You'll see the amount of women's tag teams that are all of a sudden going to be eligible to contend for those titles again.
That is a fantastic, I didn't even think of that. There's 6 individuals backstage right now that they're doing the cheerleading for Disney Strong Style right now.
Drop kick by Rapunzel, minimal effect, but now with shots. Reversal though.
Nice roundhouse spin kick right to the gut, takes Kita down to the mat. Cover in here by Rapunzel. Kick out at 1. I was going to say, maybe that little bit of posing she did there could have cost some time, but I think Kita might have kicked out before 3 anyway.
She kicked out at a 1 count, so definitely still plenty of life in Kita.
We've seen Kita and Esmeralda tag before. You go back to when we were establishing who the #1 contenders were going to be for the women's tag team titles. Ooh. That little mini tournament prior to Paramount. Oh, whoa, what the heck?
In the world?
Stereo springboard drop kicks with nobody as the target.
Both of them thought of the same thing at the same time and just acted a little too quickly, I guess.
Big pop-up forearm here by Esmeralda, looking to win the tag team titles here, and kick out at 1 by Rapunzel. Another interesting point there that we heard from Esmeralda is apparently at one point, Esmeralda and Kita were invited to join the Disney Queens faction. There's already 5 of them there. That would have been even more of a formidable force if 7 of them were in that faction together.
Yeah, that would have been quite... They say strength in numbers. I feel like that would really have been the exclamation point if they invited those two to join the faction, and that invitation was successful as Belle's going to be tagged in.
That'd be what, nearly a little less than a quarter of the women's division all in one group? Gracious. Nice double arm hook into the power bomb here by Belle to put Kita away, and Esmeralda going to break that pinfall up. Oh, might pay the price though. Disarmer locked in by Belle, but I guess realizing that a tap out wouldn't retain the title since Esmeralda is not the legal participant.
Esmeralda, I think, tried to take Rapunzel out of the picture here, but that was obviously interrupted, and now they're going to go for the tag. Both members of Disney Strong Style are down in the wing.
And again, folks, this was not scheduled. We knew we were going to hear from the Disney Queens here tonight. Little did we know we were going to have a tag team matchup this evening. This is completely impromptu. The challenge was made by Disney Strong Style. The Disney Queens accepted. And now, opportunity here for, I mean, could we assume that if the Disney Queens end up winning this matchup, you can add Disney Strong Style to the teams that would no longer be able to fight for the tag team belts?
I'm not sure. I mean, we haven't really heard any word one way or the other, but if we do end up having a tag team title change here, the seismic landscape change that we would have in FWE here out of absolutely nowhere would be insane.
As we documented, Esmeralda's got that Fighting Female Championship matchup against Shigo next week as well, so certainly you might think Kita might be taking a lot of the load of this matchup to try and keep Esmeralda as fresh as possible for that title match. We haven't seen Esmeralda in the ring. I've noticed that. Haven't seen her in the ring quite as much as Kita, so that might have been some strategy on their part. Oh, Poison Rana! Dropping Kita right on the top of her head. Now laying in those kicks right into the forehead.
Kita right back up to her feet, but then brought back down.
Yeah, Kita might have been going for something. Cut off at the pass. Taken down by Rapunzel. And this is smart by the Disney Queens. Frequent tags, keeping themselves fresh here. And not allowing Kita to be able to make a tag to her partner. Cutting off the ring.
Not allowing her to be comfortable either because you're constantly having to adapt to the changing opponents in this matchup. But Kita with a reversal and a clothesline, and that'll give her an opportunity to tag Esmeralda back in.
Belle looking for suplex. Fisherman suplex connects. Now we'll tag Rapunzel back in. Again, the frequent tags continue. Wow! What a German suplex!
The distance she got, and that could be it.
Could indeed, but no, Kita right there. Johnny on the spot to break that up before the referee's hand even came down for a 1.
Oh, they've got to be careful here.
Belle's got to get out of the ring here, although remember, a disqualification would actually not change the titles. Uh-oh, I think Rapunzel's got something on her mind here. I think she's getting ready to fly.
Ooh.
Senton connects with Esmeralda.
Rapunzel a little bit sore getting back up from that, but nevertheless able to get herself right back into the ring. Esmeralda is still down ringside.
Count out, the titles would still not change hands, but Esmeralda gets back into the ring. Oh, Rapunzel was trying to set up Kita for something. Kita with a bit of a cheap shot there, and now hoisting up on her shoulders does Esmeralda and hits the discus forearm.
I think it's completely fair. I mean, Rapunzel was the one going for the cheap shot in the first place. Kita was just fighting back, defending herself.
Kita now into the ring, big knees into the gut of Rapunzel, and a lay in the right hand. You see Rapunzel trying to cover up, trying to block them. May have blocked a few, but I think some of them caught her flush. Oh,
big
what
knee.
A knee lift, gracious.
Well, they don't call them Disney Strong Style for no reason.
Oh, to the lower back with that springboard moonsault.
Rapunzel rolls out of the ring, and now Kita maybe thinking about an attack on Belle. Here we go.
Here we go. It's the most overused move in fantasy wrestling entertainment.
Down goes Bell. Oh! Hit a Hurricane Rana on Esmeralda ringside. Our referee's at a count of 6. Bell's got to get back in the ring.
Does so at 7, and now we've got literally a one-on-one. Bell's down here in front of our announce table. Rapunzel down the other side. Big knee to the forehead. Can Kita get it done on her own? No, kick out at 1 by Rapunzel.
And this match has started to drag on for just a little bit, and the Disney Queens were not expecting to have to defend the tag team titles tonight, so one move at this point could be all it takes.
Big kick to the back of the head. Rapunzel a little dazed right now. Esmeralda tagged in. Got to still be feeling the effects of that Hurricane Rana on the outside, though. Superman punch connects.
That it does.
Do we have new champs? Yes, we do! That's enough to do it! As you just said, the floodgates have been burst wide open now!
The landscape has changed here at FWE. New women's tag team champions, and now there are so many teams that are eligible to contend for those tag team titles again.
For the first time in their FWE careers, both Esmeralda and Kita hold championship gold Disney Strong Style, now the new Women's Disney Tag Team Champions. And remember what they said, if they had the belts, they would defend them week after week. We'll have to see if they stay true to their word. Thank you all so much for joining us here tonight. We'll see you Saturday for FWE Extra, next Thursday for the next episode of FWE.